see no reason why if a woman marries a man from another country and he can't take up the citizenship, if you as a man can marry someone else in marry a woman from a different country and take up the citizenship. So
I mean,
that's
it does seem to be a case of active discrimination at
yeah,
this point.
that's how it looks, and for me that's ridiculous. And a number of other things that you see, but like I always say, the women must continually fight for all these things and for their rights. It's important that even women, aside from the men who would support them, even women as a whole should be able to push a lot of all these agendas and become more forceful. If you read from a number of the statements made, some of the prominent speakers here, you would find out that, for instance, Executive Director of Baobab for Women's Human Rights, Dipo Salami, said, identifying increased advocacy and public alignment as imperatives for gender equality in the world, which is we need to continually speak about it. We need to continually tell women that they have the same rights as men.
I
And
feel like it's less a case of tell and more a case of show, because I would like
oh,
not to be told. I would
well,
like to be shown that
yeah,
I have the exact same rights.
I,
I
I,
would
I,
like to just step into
and
my rights without having to fight for this
and that's how it should be.
as
But
a
you
woman.
need to continually educate those who are coming in. I have two daughters, and
Mm.
there is no way I'm going to tell them that the guy is better than them, whether it's educationally, from what they do, where they are, because they have the same. I was born of a woman, for crying out loud.
Now, here's the question I would have for you. Now, you are an individual.
Yeah.
Would you say that yes, you tell them one thing, but then they go out into society, they go past the protection that their father provides for them, and then they're treated in a different way when they
and
go into society.
and then you like, it's the same way. Like I would fight for my rights. They
Mm.
must fight for their rights, and when the need arises, I am going to support them for fighting for their rights. Then I must do that, whether I'm a man or a woman or whatever. But the truth remains that
Mhm.
some of the things that they're actually asking for from these bills should have been put in place. That's my own personal opinion.
And it's quite interesting. So I had the founder of Purple Women Foundation, Eriti Bakari, in the studio with me yesterday, and she talked about how actually, whilst people say, "Oh, there needs to be sensitization and there needs to be disengagement and continuous talk and making sure the dialogue continues," she said that the reason that we actually had some of these bills up for of some of these amendments up for votes was because of the continual advocacy and push
Yeah,
by women
yeah.
and by women's groups as
and I
well.
and I agree with that. And
Mm.
it mustn't stop because you've lost the first round, which is the way I would say, because you would continue to push for these things to be done. Like I said, I see no reason why if if I marry a foreigner, she can take up the my country's citizenship. It's the same thing. She's If I am a Nigerian as a man, then she is a Nigerian as a woman, and it's the same way all over the world. So if I can take up citizenship of my spouse wherever I am and I marry the woman, then it should happen in Nigeria. I don't see the reason why that bill shouldn't pass. I don't see the reason why some of the bills that you are asking or advocating for shouldn't pass. And really, they should continue that fight.
All right. Well, today's International Women's Day theme is hashtag breaking the bias or break the bias, and it's themed gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Now I just want to leave this story with a quote that I found to be quite interesting from the president of the Medical Women International Association, Dr. Eleanor Nwadinobi, who said that women face bias and discrimination against them right from conception. And this is what her words that I'm going to quote now. She said she faces biases in the context of inheritance rights, burial, and widowhood rights. At the end of her time on earth, the woman faces the bias of where her remains will be laid to rest. The most toxic and life-threatening bias is the intentional and targeted violence against women and girls in their homes and communities. We must speak up and speak out against this violence that is an existential threat. The solution lies in a global treaty to end all forms of violence against women and girls. All right, now let's take a look at the next story, which comes in from the Guardian newspaper still. A headline reads, Missing Lagos BRT passenger is dead. Now, this is a story that has been at the forefront of the conversation right now. Absolutely tragic, absolutely shocking. A 22-year-old lady, Oluwabamiche Ayonwole, who went missing while in transit on a BRT bus in Lagos on the 26th of February. Her remains were found. Now, police spokesperson in Lagos State CSP Adekunle Ajishebutu said in a statement issued on Monday that her corpse was found on Carter Bridge on Lagos Island, and she was returning to Auto from Aja on Saturday, the 26th of February, when she boarded this BRT bus at around 7 o'clock in the evening at Chevron bus stop, and she actually sensed that she was in danger because she sent voice notes back and forth with her friend while she was on her phone, and also took video footage as well. And the voice notes we could found that the bus driver had said that he liked Oluwabami. She felt like she was in danger. Um, However, the police source has said that the driver has been found and arrested. But absolutely tragic news.
It's such a shame if we cannot trust public transport managed by the government, then which one can we trust? And this is really sad. First and foremost, my condolences to the family of Oluwabamiche. At least based on the news coming out, the details haven't the full details haven't come out, but the BRT driver has been arrested. Um, Based on the discussion between Oluwabamiche and her friend, there were at least four other people in the car, in the bus, three other men and one woman, and it's amazing that you know we're just not safe. What exactly are we? What kind of situations are we living in today? If I can board, like I said, if I cannot board a a, a, a public transport that is run by the state, then there is a huge problem. We hear of entering one chances, and
Exactly, but this was
but
official. This
this
was
is a BRT line, and it's really sad, really sad. Thankfully, they've gotten the driver. I hope they will get every other person along with him, and then they will be able to find out what exactly happened and what led to the death of this lady. It's such a sad story. This one.
may her soul rest in peace and may
Amen.
justice be found because this is disheartening, absolutely disheartening. Well, pretty sure you're not going to be happy with the next story because we've got more. And this really highlights why we need the focus, or we need to continuously highlight and spotlight the treatment of women within the different roles and in the different contexts within this country and outside of it. As well, from the Premium Times, absence of regulatory structures fosters gender-based violence to mining sites. Now, the article it's very long, very detailed. It goes takes you around different sites to see what women are facing in Plateau. But so let's start off with just a overview. So it talks about how in the large gatherings around mining sites where people come to work, that sexual atrocities against women are common. However, no case of sexual offense has been recorded by the gender unit of Nigeria's Ministry of Mines and Steel since it was established back in 2013. It talks about one case of a lady, Miss Adams, who went to the corner of a bush to ease herself, and she was raped. Her story is one of many stories just like that of these female artisanal miners in Nigeria who are raped at the sites, but their stories don't go past the sites. It seems, although Premium Times did go and make a concerted effort to go around the sites and gather and report these stories. Now, the report by Premium Times showed that even though women are in the majority at many artisanal mines, they're mostly relegated to the menial and lower paid sectors of mining, such as rollers, pan carriers, washers, and food providers, making between 1,000 naira and 5,000 naira daily, sometimes 10,000 naira, depending on the quality of tin mined from a well. And these meager earnings have pushed many women into trading their bodies for cruiser or tin or sand, as they called it. Um, what You've read this story. You've seen what goes on.
It's a very very long and detailed report by the Premium Times. But what beats me first and foremost is, um, according to the report, the Mining Act of 2007, which regulates the exploration and exploitation of solid minerals in Nigeria, has no provision on issues relating to sexual harassment and all forms of sexual atrocities at mining sites. So the question here is, there is an act which, first and foremost, spells out how the industry should run, which still, for a lot of other minerals aside from oil and gas, there is no definite structure of how these things and companies are mining them. That's one. Some of them are done illegally. A number of them are done illegally, because there are no structures and you don't know really who are the organizations running the mining systems in these places. Then it becomes
so in this chaotic
exactly, and it becomes a bit difficult for you to pinpoint what exactly is going on or what exactly could be going on. And this is what the case is. I don't know how many companies are registered as mining companies in Nigeria. That I would have to check. But like I said, it's a detailed report about atrocities relating to sexual harassment, related to rape, and all forms of abuses.
And I do like the way
in
you
those
talk
places.
about how it goes down to that kind of structural basis, wherein if you don't put in place a structure and if it's not clear for all to see, then these things happen. Because Premium Times also went on to mention a new mining site that commenced operations at Rakok, and it's run by the indigents. And because there's this kind of transparency and accountability to one another, these issues of gender-based violence do not occur. They say that even consensual sexual relations are not allowed.
And that's why I said, first and foremost, if you don't know who is running, then you don't even know what structures you have there. And because not a lot, a number of in trying to paraphrase rightly, within that industry, we don't know what the structured system is like. There's an act that says this is what you should do. Do you have companies that are fully registered and you have their names in the CAC that you can hold responsible for having? It's the same way you have the oil companies drilling in different parts. Do you have those kind of things? Do you have those kind of contracts, so that even labor laws as it relates to how you run the business, all those things will come into place. So for me, this is an area that the regulators should check and then ensure that proper structures are put in place, so that the basic forms of working relationships as provided by the International Labour Organization, labor laws across Nigeria and across the world have been adhered to.
All right, then. Well, we're supposed to take a very quick break, but when we get back, I'll be reading out your messages. I see them coming in on YouTube, and I see them coming in on WhatsApp. When I get back, we'll hear your thoughts on these topics. All right, we've got a minute. So when we get back, we'll move from the women to the men. Men of politics, people. It's gonna be interesting. Oh, and he'll give us an. Oh, he got it. He can't hear me. All right, let's have a look. Baba Femi, he says, Happy International Women's Day. Oh, thank you, Baba Femi. They should pick up the ladle and plate and serve themselves. Right on. And Joy Ukaha says, when crimes of ritual nature or any crime is not punished properly and publicly, these crimes continue. There is no justice in Nigeria. All right. I'll read your messages on YouTube first of all, and then we'll get to WhatsApp. All right. So we are back. All right, here we are about to read your messages on Freshly Pressed. I'm Chopper Martins. This is Smooth Breakfast. And in the studio, I have got Wade Ahimi. So, let's take a look at what you have to say up on youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Baba Femi Onogweson says, Happy International Women's Day. Nigerian and African women, by extension, should dream, believe, dare, and act. They should pick up the ladle and plate and serve themselves. Us Joy Okaha says, when crimes of a ritual nature or any crime is not punished properly and publicly, these crimes continue. There is no justice in Nigeria. Well, Joy, we need to look for it and we need to make sure it is served. We've got this one in. Ike Pizza says the driver's like on the BRT incident, the driver's excuse that he couldn't do anything cannot hold water. If he were innocent, although still presumed to be under the law, he should have reported that incident immediately. The girl was dragged down by her supposed abductors. What even happened to the camera in the BRT bus? I am sure I have seen one, says Ike.
Yeah, what happened to the lights in the BRT bus? Because I've seen BRT buses at night and they're well lit.
That was dark. We've got this one in. Yemi from Marina says, going by the so many gory stories on the mutilation of women in Nigeria this year alone, it is clear that we have monsters amongst us. I implore our ladies to please take extra precautions when going out and always have a guardian figure on speed dial. God bless our women. God bless Nigeria. While Cisco Delgado says, when Oluwabamishe's family visited the BRT terminal, Oshidi, he was present but refused to identify himself. May her soul rest in peace. Whilst Taya says, BRT had thugs brought from unknown destinations during the NSAR's protests with no investigation or reports. Are we surprised at how these facilities are being used? We've got more messages. Oh, this is an interesting one. Fabian from Ekpe says, if women are equal to men, I wonder why they want things on a platter of gold. They should go out and be counted. If women stood up for themselves, they wouldn't need to beg to be heard. Happy Women's Day. Oh, Fabian from Ekpe. Bless your hearts. Moving on, premium times now. Court stops Buhari and National Assembly from tampering with new Electoral Act. So this is the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday, and we heard from Justice Ian Eko, who's in a ruling on an ex parte application by the opposition PDP, People's Democratic Party, said the Electoral Act, having become a valid law, could not be altered without following the due process of law. And the clause in contention seems to be the one that Mr. President had mentioned when signing the act into law, saying that that is section 84 subsection 12, which reads, no political appointee at any level shall be a voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates of any election. And he says,
I don't know why
I don't like it.
I don't know why he doesn't like that. If you want to run for public office and you're a political appointee, then you resign. That's what the standard is. That's what the standard should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's signed it and he's asking the National Assembly to take it out. But the process of taking it out has to go through the same process of how the bill was amended. And that's where the issue is. And I'm happy that this went to court. You might as well have not signed it and taken it back to the National Assembly and tell them, yank it out, otherwise I won't sign.
Mm.
But now that you've signed, you have to go through that process again, which we all know is not very easy. So, what's the PDP has done is to ensure that you don't use any backdoor way to take it out and say, oh, so if you want to run for political office, it's been done. It's not new. It's been standard. I know people who were ministers, who were special advisors, who resigned and went to seek political office in this dispensation of democracy. A number of them. So why should it change now?
Well, let's see if this can go ahead with no drama, but hey, because we already have drama coming in from this day newspaper, APC governors abandon Buni and back Bello, rather. This is after the dramatic turn of events resulting in the sack of the chairman of the caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress, Governor Mayamala Buni by President Buhari. His Niger State counterpart Abubakar Bello has taken over the affairs of the party after a faction of the APC governors was alleged to have complained bitterly to the president that Buni was not inclined to hold the convention as rescheduled because there were no preparations on ground to indicate. So, I mean, oh, Ade,
But
as you followed this story,
yes, I
what did
have.
you think?
I've followed it for a while now. Buni has continually shifted the goalpost every single time. First, it was the local government what's it called, nominations and elections. Oh, they shifted it in so many states, and the claim was, oh, it was the state parties that were responsible. Finally, they hold those things. Now it was time to swear in those who had, but he's just continually moved it. Now the election timetables are out. You have till June 4 of this year to have nominated or selected or elected members of your party who will be running for office. And then you have till June 17th to make sure, or June 3rd, June 17th to make sure that you all the cases have been cleared out, and you can now start the proper things for running a campaign for election. So this convention should have been held in, first it was January, then it moved to February. Now the electoral act has been signed. Um, INEC has set the timetable, so APC wants to get their acts together because they had just been looking like a party of strange bedfellows who didn't know what to do.
Hmm. Okay, that's one way of putting it. All right, very quickly, let's see if we can take this one. Punch news now. Customs vow to pressure suspend evaluation of import vehicles. Looks like the strike found its found its goal, actually reached its goal. Now, federal government through the Nigeria Customs Service on Monday announced a 31-day suspension of the controversial electronic valuation system for imported vehicles known as the Vehicle Identification Number Valuation. The announcement comes over 2 weeks after clearing agents associations and Lagos ports embarked on an indefinite strike over what they described as frustrations occasioned by the implementation of the system. What do you- what say
Our,
you to this?
our ports are already congested, and then you add this to it, and everybody's complaining. I'm sure a lot of it is because clearing prices have
Skyrocketed?
escalated. Now they've decided that they're not even coming to the ports to clear the cars anymore. So what do? You want to leave them there and congest the port some more. So this is the beginning. While they are going back to status quo, they would start the negotiations again to find out if they can put a proper system in place. But my question always is, when these things are being touted, do you have all stakeholders sit down so that they can better understand what they need to do and how they need to go about it? We shouldn't we shouldn't be going back and forth. If it happens again, I'm sure there'll be another strike, and then yeah, it's like it will become like ASU and the government.
Oh, yes. We're still on that 2009 agreement. Uh, rescheduling people. All right, and oh, this is a really interesting one actually. In from the Premium Times, Nigeria pledges 2.5 billion naira infrastructure as American diapers maker opens up $100 million plant. Now, this is the American corporation Kimberly Clark, which is the makers of Huggies diapers, has opened up a new $100 million plant in Ikorodu in a new move by the firm to try and wrestle some of that market share from other leading brands. Now, in support, the Nigerian government and the Lagos state government have pledged a combined 2.5 billion naira to develop adjoining infrastructure leading up to the factory site at Ikorodu. They're saying, because this new facility has the capacity to create over 1,000 direct jobs and 5,000 indirect jobs. And why do I see you shaking your head? Your thoughts?
This is government's responsibility to provide this infrastructure so that we can get this kind of investment. You don't wait for the investments to come in and then you're now pledging 2.5 billion for the infrastructure. And what infrastructure are we even talking about? Is it the roads? Is it light? Is it water? You really don't know. So you just come out and make bland grand statements of 2.5 billion to be, to be pledged towards infrastructure. This is an election year. what kind of infrastructures are we talking about? But this is good news for huggies to be produced in Nigeria. It should become cheaper. But like you hear, the infrastructure already is going to cost you. It's going to add to the cost of doing that business already, as I can say. So maybe the price will be just slightly lower.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've got this one in up on Twitter. Hashtag freshly pressed 981. Annie EJ says, I I can't say that I'm surprised about the little bitty. I can't say I'm surprised about the incidents. I think is what Annie is trying to say. Instead of calling the police, she could only express her fear through social media, and the Nigerian government think they are right to pick a fight with Twitter. I'm sorry. He goes on to say the whole officers, all the officers of the police force should resign. All right. Well, your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us for Freshly Pressed. Make sure to go and find Wade up on Twitter. Wade, every time I put the underscore in the wrong place, it's Wade Ahimi underscore.
Yes, that's what it is. You
There
got it
you
right
go.
today.
Yes, and you can find us.
Justin is not here distracting.
And you can find us on Twitter ourselves. We are at Smooth981FM. Make sure you go and you replay the broadcast of the show on youtube.com/smooth981FM. Lagos coming up at 8:15. It is going to be the grapevine. Make sure you join us and tune in. All right, people, we are done. Ugh, I've just been slurring my words. But it's all good. You got the message. You got the message, people.